So am I hearing this correctly? President Trump is considering taking illegal aliens and putting them into sanctuary cities? I love this president. Hi, my name is Kyle Suggs, and welcome to my channel where we take culture, TV, and movies and we filter it right. This time I'm going to talk a little bit about the policy, potentially, of taking illegal aliens and putting them into sanctuary cities, which, by the way, are in direct violation of federal law. But before I do that, I'm going to run through how we got here and what would position the president to make such a brash policy, potentially. So before we get into this, I want to talk to you a little bit about the situation we find ourselves into now with illegal immigration. Okay, I'm going to talk about facts, fairness, and sovereignty. And I'm going to leave a link below with these references to this particular argument. So let's go. Here's a quick whirlwind of some facts. I get this information courtesy of Turning Point USA. Shout out to them. So first, the facts. So in the state of Arizona, an illegal alien is twice as likely to commit a crime than those of a regular citizen. 90% of all fentanyl and heroin come through our southern border. We have 56,000 illegal aliens in our federal penitentiary systems. It's even more so in our state penitentiary systems that we don't even know. Over 10,000 kids are sex trafficked across our southern border every year. All of this costs $153 billion a year to U.S. taxpayers. But what about fairness? Is it fair that a person from Belarus or Bangladesh who applies for an application, does paperwork, waits 10 years for the chance to become a citizen of the United States, only to be pushed back because an illegal alien jumped the line? How fair is that? Where's the people on the left defending these people? And so what about sovereignty? This idea of open borders and some sort of transferable citizenship is ridiculous. It's crazy. If you don't have borders in a country, you do not have a country. And I like the way Charlie Kirk put it. Borders are where good ideas start and bad ideas begin. So what happened? So on Friday, President Trump was at a press conference announcing 5G network expansion across this country. A question came up asking about his tweet earlier, which I'm going to read in a second, about this policy potentially of taking illegal aliens and putting them into sanctuary cities. This is what the tweet said. Due to the fact that Democrats are unwilling to change our very dangerous immigration laws, we are indeed, as reported, giving strong considerations to placing illegal immigrants in sanctuary cities only. He goes on to say this: the radical left always seems to have an open borders, open arms policy. So this should make them happy. Okay, so this is awesome on so many different levels. So what is the response on the left? Well, Speaker Pelosi said this: the extent of this administration's cynicism and cruelty cannot be overstated. Cynicism and cruelty? Why? What could possibly be cynical and cruel about taking illegal aliens whom you've said in the past are wonderful people who don't break the laws, who make the society safer? How is that possible be cruel when you're going to put them into a city like San Francisco or wherever and live? Should that be something that you guys should celebrate and applaud? I'm not sure what the problem is. What's the problem? Here's the problem. The problem is this: Democrats do not care about illegal aliens, just like they don't care about many other factions that they say they support. They only care about the voting bloc and power that gives them by manipulating people to believe their narratives, their belief systems, and to buy into them and to depend on them for everything. That is the Democrat Party. And one thing Trump has done is he's exposed that, because they hate him so much, they just have to go against him. And in doing so, they expose themselves. There goes the nuance. There goes the subtlety. Whereas before, Democrats were really good about being subtle on their policies. They would say, well, you know, whatever. They would float around. They would, in the election campaign, they would go left, mid-left, and then during the general campaign, they would go to the middle. And they would duck and dodge, hem and haw, and that would sustain them for a long time because they would always lean to the conservative issues on the election cycle and do the opposite when the actual league got into office. Part of the reason why the GOP got into trouble when, for many, many years, they would do the same thing. They would really be very solidly conservative on certain issues, but then they would go moderate to liberal once they got into office. And this went on for election cycle after election cycle after election cycle. So finally, people got fed up and we voted Trump in. As you can see, Trump early on was denigrated by Republicans, denigrated by the Democrats, and yet he was still able to win because he had enough of everybody who was collectively thinking for America to win. He got the middle independent vote, he got enough for the Republican vote, he got enough of the Bernie Sanders vote, and he got enough of the blue collar vote who were disenfranchised or never voted in an election before. And so the point of this video and the thumbnail that you probably clicked on this for is this. The Democrat Party only wants illegal immigration for voting power, period. That is it. And if this doesn't prove that, nothing will. Because what they want to happen is this. They want to bring illegal aliens into this country and they want to spread them out all over in Texas, in Arizona, in Colorado, in Minnesota, in Carolina, in Georgia, all over. That way they can bump up those population bases and get enough edge to win the election in 2020. That's all this is about. It's power all the way. Why else would they not want to put illegal aliens into sanctuary cities? They're there for a reason, right? They're there to protect the poor illegal alien from the big bad government to come in and take them even though they are breaking federal law. Why else would they not care about that? Why else would they say that? Because they do not want them to expose the policy that illegal immigration is a horrible policy that does nothing but bring crime and drugs and everything into this country and hurts the people who are already here. And so lastly, I'm gonna talk about this. As an African American, as a black man, I take this fairly personally because you see, the Democrats and the liberals want to say, hey, we're for the brother man, we're for the black people, we're for African Americans, but at the same time, they're going to push a policy that's going to hurt African Americans overwhelmingly. Why else do you think they're going to drum up reparations? Because they have to compensate for their lackluster policies, their failed promises across the board. They're being exposed. They're being exposed. And I've said this time and time again, that the Democrat Party, by using illegal aliens, are kicking blacks to the back of the bus in favor of illegals. And that's the sad, horrible truth. And so I applaud the president on this potential policy. It's going to make the Democrats stand up and take action. Similarly to DACA, when he actually said, okay, well, let's do something with it. And then they say, well, we don't want to mess with it. Because they don't really care about the DACA kids. They don't really care about the illegal immigrants or aliens or coming over to this country. They don't really care about that. They just want the voting power. They want the narrative to drive so that they can point the Republicans as being the racists, so they can get more votes and more power and keep you from knowing the truth so that this country can be great again, okay? And so if you enjoy the content in this channel where we take culture, TV, and movies and we filter it to the right, please consider liking and subscribing. Also, check out the videos I have right here.